You are now listening to Cyber Timebite, hosted by me, Stephen Clark. Hope you enjoy the podcast. Hey there, everybody. If you guys listened last week, it was awesome. It probably was awesome. It's by the time I'm recording this episode, I haven't recorded it or even haven't made it yet. But by the time this comes out and you're hearing this, the 100th episode is going to be made, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to love it. But today I am back again with the highest played video, the guest I had in my podcast that's the highest played on the Cyber Timebite YouTube channel right now, which is pretty awesome because I like this person a lot because this person's really awesome and loves what she loves, and she will never stop loving it for no matter what. I am back again with Kiirathehedgehog once again.
Hey guys, that was very sweet of you. Thank you. As always, it's an honor to be on the show.
It's awesome. I mean, like you're not what is your number count again? I just want to make sure to get this right so I should have done this beforehand, but I just want to get the number statistic right so I could be like, yeah, that 88 views.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's you and then Sarah Samara and then a video and then like the theme for my cosplay group. That's a air quote. And then my second live event, and then Yukio Kenzie at 12.
Well, hey, I mean, we all start somewhere, and those are pretty good.
Yeah. Have you listened to my second most popular video?
Yeah, I actually listened to a little bit of is it Sailor Samara or something like that?
Yes.
I listened to a little bit of theirs, actually.
Yeah, she's a YouTuber just like you are.
She's ultra cute, so that was a really good episode.
Yeah, I was like, because I'm a Sailor Moon fan myself. I grew up on the anime.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I watched that episode where you guys were talking about Sailor Moon. I had no idea you were a fan.
Oh, are you saying that you're a huge fan? You just know how to make me tick.
I'm not that into Sailor Moon really. Like my best friend grew up on it. A lot of my best friends grew up on it. But I've never really gotten into it. And I've tried to get into the manga, I've tried to get into the show, and I've probably seen 50 episodes of the anime. But I feel like I know nothing about it compared to other fans,
I heard the thing is that I haven't watched the show in forever myself, but I remember here's and there's, but I can't tell you a full episode.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Like I could name all the characters, but I can't really tell you a storyline for the show necessarily.
No, it's fine. I mean, I've been off the bandwagon just as long as you have. So, I'm a fan of it. I love it. I grew up on it. But I can't say that it was. No, the feedback's not a problem.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Behind the scenes stuff, everybody.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like Sailor Moon is, an awesome show,
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be because some people are super into it, and my first Magical Girl show that I got into as a kid, when everyone was into Sailor Moon, I was super into Tokyo Mew Mew. It aired on Foxbox, along with Sonic X and Shaman King and all these other really cool shows, but really early in the morning. I don't know why I was more into that one. I think I was into more of the science of that one versus Sailor Moon. But I could never find Sailor Moon on TV growing up, I guess. So maybe that's why I'm not as big of a fan of it.
Wait, no, like why is it? No, it could be called like they took you mew mew.
No, that is the perfect example of how Tokyo Mew Mew should be pronounced from now on. It's very much moe cutesy, just like that.
Here comes all the Nepeta fans from Homestuck. Oh my god, no!
Oh.
like they all come around and just start pouncing on the person who pronounced it that way.
You know, I don't know one thing about Homestuck, so I would not know.
Oh man, you never read Homestuck before?
No, it's not my thing. Like, webcomics are really not my thing. So, I feel like way back in like 2012, like it was really getting big. And I saw the cosplayers at cons, and I would ask people what it was about, and they would have trouble explaining it, or maybe I just didn't know how to process the information. But I think I gave it a few pages a try, and maybe it just wasn't for me. But again, that's like me with all webcomics. I just can't seem to get into webcomics no matter what. Which is weird because anime that are adaptations of webcomics I've really enjoyed. But yeah, other webcomics, maybe it's just not for me.
Yeah, because there's that way, the way that you go to mspaintadventures.com and you can just click for every single page, like what I'm trying to do. but there's also, I heard there's also like videos where it's read to you, so you don't have to do it that way. And,
that might be something for me. I love audiobooks and podcast kind of things, so maybe that would do it.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of podcasts, but let me finish what I was going to say. Then I wanted to talk about something about podcasts. But then there's the actual physical books. I don't know if they sell them in Japan, but they actually have physical Homestuck books now. Really?
Yeah, maybe not in Japan. I don't even know if Homestuck's big here. I couldn't tell you. But I didn't know they had that makes sense. They'd have the physical ones because I'm sure they print money, basically.
I had the first 4 books. There's more, but I only have the first 4. But what I want to talk about the podcast thing is that the last time we talked, which was a year ago, you yourself started up your own podcast, and it was a female empowered Sonic podcast or panel kind of podcast or something. It only had 1 episode. What happened?
Yeah. So it was an anime and manga and like gaming and Japanese culture podcast. And like this happens every time. Oh man, it's like the death of me is going to be the podcasts I try to make. So me and my best friends, we tried to make a podcast, and trouble with like the vibe of like how our show was supposed to go, and there was just like time commitments just weren't there. But it's funny you mention it because I've been talking to by the way, the same friends that were in the podcast before. I think that our lives are a little bit more stable now. Well, of course, this whole coronavirus thing doesn't help, but I think all of our lives are a bit more stable now to where we could commit to something like that. Because that's the hard thing is like with podcasts with like the same co-host every week, like that's so much commitment and it takes a lot of like time scheduling. But I think, that's why it's so funny you mentioned it because I've been talking about trying to get it back up again. I don't know if I'm going to call it the same thing. But I am thinking about restarting that podcast. But that's the second anime podcast I've tried to do, and I only managed to get 1 episode out. So we'll see. I hope it can be a thing. I really want to do a podcast really badly. I hope you enjoyed the show or if you watched it or whatever. But yeah, I'm hoping to get back into that.
I did because I remember you telling me like it's because of cyber. I'm not saying this was the reason. This is what I think I remember you telling me is that because of Cyber Timebite, because of the episode that we did, it kind of inspired you to do a podcast.
It sure did. Yeah, it did for real. Because let's see, back in the day, I used to be on a podcast called Ultimate Gamers Podcast, and it had a pretty good viewing. It used to be on my friend Jack the Bomb's channel, and she has 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so it got pretty good traction. But that was so back in the day, and that was pretty regular. But I hadn't done well, and then I did Gossip with the Gamers on my own video game channel, and that went pretty well. And ever since then, I hadn't really done any podcast stuff until I came on your show on Timebite, and I was like, I miss this kind of stuff. I miss talking with people and having it being recorded. And like lately, I've been listening to a lot more podcasts and stuff. So yeah, it kind of really did spark me wanting to start it again. And as I said before, it's something that I really want to do, and I think I'm ready to be committed to, especially because, one of the problems with the anime podcast was last year my job was just crazy. Like, I did teaching at a school, so it was just, a full-time job and a very big commitment and very exhausting. So it was hard to find the time to do the podcast, but I have a lot more free time now, so I think it can happen. Because
when I was trying to start this podcast, like, you were actually one of the first people I wanted on the podcast, because I remember your videos when I was growing up, and
that's so nice.
And I was like, I was looking for my YouTube subscriptions, and I was looking just at my YouTube stuff, and I was just like, Kiirathehedgehog. I was like, crap, I remember her. So I was like, and so I went back to watch the old videos I used to watch from you when you were living back in Virginia in your house, just saying, I want to do this, and this. And,
yeah.
And I was like, I want her on my podcast, man. And so like, I wanted you on my podcast more than you wanted to do podcasting.
Well, that's crazy, because sometimes I look at my old videos, like my old video game videos, and I'm like, who would want me on their podcast? I don't get it, but I'm very happy to be able to be on Timebite, that's for sure.
Yeah, because I was like, man, she her videos were amazing. I liked her content. Like, she was a Sonic fan. I'm a Sonic fan, and so.
Well, I recently uploaded a new video to that channel. I don't know if you noticed, but, well, I say new, it was about 2 months ago. But before that, I hadn't uploaded for like a year. I did like a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt thing.
Yeah.
So that was so crazy, though. I just can't believe I had uploaded to the Kiirathehedgehog channel. It'd been so long, and then I did. And some of the people were like, what the heck? You're not dead? I'm like, I'm not dead. I have another channel. I do like Japan things. See, but a lot of the people who watch the Sonic content, they're not into the Japan content, which is totally fine. I mean, that's two completely different audiences,
Mm-hmm. I mean, Ginger Gaiden's the Japan stuff, and Kiirathehedgehog's the Sonic stuff, right?
Right.
Or video game stuff.
Yeah.
We should, me and you, since this whole quarantine thing's going on, me and you should one day, when we get time to do it, we should like make a live stream and just raise money for a cure for this COVID.
That's been doing so well on Twitch recently. Like, there's been a lot of gamers that's been, raising relief funds for it. That's really cool.
I feel like we could do something like that with like we can, like, I don't know if you're a Tekken fan, but like we can freaking like do like Sonic and Tekken and a bunch of
they can watch me do really bad at Tekken, but that might be entertaining. You can just kick my butt at Tekken. That might be the most entertaining thing ever. That might work.
Yeah, but do you have Tekken 7 for the PS4?
I don't, dude. I don't even have a PS4, man.
Then
So I'm waiting for the PS5 though. PS5 is definitely on my radar. Probably for a first day pickup.
Yeah, that's coming out next year, isn't it?
Well, we don't really know, because I know that Sony's only revealed like the computer and not the computer, the controller and the specs and stuff. And then they weren't even supposed to be at E3 this year. I'm sure they were going to have some kind of separate conference or something. I'm sure their plans have completely gotten shattered due to coronavirus, not only at Sony of America, but Sony of Japan. And I was thinking it's got to come out holiday season, right? I mean, they've always come out in November. It's good for sales and whatnot, but I don't know. I don't know if it will. I mean, the virus could really mess up the PlayStation 5's release plans.
I mean, like people are saying like there won't be. They usually release a wrestling game every year under the because 2K Sports releases the WWE game every year. People are saying there isn't going to be a WWE 2K21 this year because of this.
That's crazy. I never would have thought. I never would have thought stuff like that would be affected.
Well, I mean, like you got like as we know. I mean, like people in work offices are not even in the office right now. They're either at home or they're laid
Yeah,
off, which really sucks.
right.
So I mean,
Much you can do at home. I mean, I guess you could do a lot of your job at home on a computer, but still, I mean, there's got to be some kind of limitation, you know?
yeah, I mean, like it's just if there isn't a WWE 2K21 this year, I mean, I'll be like, okay, yeah, but it's gonna feel weird because it's gonna feel like it's gonna go like WWE 2K20, 2K22. It's gonna feel weird.
Yeah, that's weird. My younger brother's really into those games. I wonder if he knows that.
Or did you used to watch it with him? Oh, I didn't know you even had a brother. Did you used to watch the wrestling with him when he was growing up?
Yeah, a little bit. He's a lot younger than me. He's 8 years younger than I am, and he's really got into wrestling and WWE and stuff like after I had already gone to college. So every time I came home, I'd watch it with him, but I don't know anything about it at all. Like, it's just something that's sometimes on the TV, and don't, I don't understand whatever is going on. But it's been on the TV at my house. That much I can tell you.
I feel like every time you walked in on the room when he was watching wrestling, and then it's like you're wearing all your Sonic stuff and you're being all nerdy and all that stuff, and then you walk into the room where your brother's watching wrestling, and then you get all confused because you go in there to watch something else, but then you realize he's in there watching that. You open the door, and then all of a sudden the Wii Shop music starts playing, and then the weird the awkward stares start.
Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I could see it.
Or I can even see that in Japan right now, where like you have all the nerdy gamers in Japan. You just play that, and then they're like, "Oh my god!" They're bowing down because they love it so much.
Yep, I could see it.
What, like, what? I mean, like, is all those animes that we talked about the first time still the popular animes in Japan right now, or has it changed since then?
I feel like it's completely changed. I don't know what we talked about. I can't remember what specific series we talked about last time, but I know we didn't talk about Demon Slayer, also known as Kimetsu no Yaiba, because that has exploded not only in Japan but also the US. I mean, around the world it has exploded. But Demon Slayer came out last summer, and my students love that show. My any love like my Japanese friends, they all love that show. I've been to several uh, anime and manga events in Japan, and it's all Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer stuff. You can see it everywhere. Like, you see it at the grocery store. You see it I see it on Japanese Twitter every day. I mean, it's the biggest show right now, I think. Probably followed by My Hero Academia. Those
My
are the two big ones right now in Japan. Not only in America, but see, America and Japan have a lot more common in anime than I think people think. Japan has likes in certain anime, like Detective Conan. That's not very popular in the U.S.
Mhm.
But mostly, like, what's popular in Japan is pretty popular in the US, I think.
Yeah, because My Hero, I, I see so much My Hero here in the U.S. that like they're like people are telling me like it's good. Like when I tell them like I only seen episode one, which is true. I only seen episode one so far. But when I tell people that they say like I understand, but watch it.
Yeah, I say it's not for everyone. I mean, it is for people who are into shonen anime and who can watch long series. And Fortunately, I grew up on Naruto, so I do love shonen to its core. And My Hero Academia, it does a lot of things right in terms of the shonen formula and its pacing. And it's a good show. And I like that they only release a certain amount of episodes at a time. Like season one was 12 episodes, and then they've released like 24 episodes each time, like for season two, three, and four. So it's not like I can't stand when Shonen is like throwing an episode at you every week. And so by the end of the year, you have 50 episodes you have to watch. I would much rather it be only like 24 episodes out a year, because then I feel like I can catch up.
Yeah.
I'm not a binger. I'm not an anime binger, so I can't. I watch a lot of anime, but I just can't sit and binge stuff. And sometimes the shonen or a long series, you got to do that.
No, because to be honest, when I first found out about your YouTube channel and figured out about you, I was just like I know, like when I first known you, I only thought that you were like in the Sonic bubble. Like there's the Sonic bubble, and then there's like everything else. But then when I got to know you, I was like, oh, you're like it's more than the Sonic bubble. You're like anime convention. You're just like all out nerd, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the range, dude. Like, I started with Sonic the Hedgehog, as a kid. That was kind of my first jump into video games, and then from there, I just slowly started to get more interested in anime, and here I am now.
I I like. I mean, like I like My Hero Academia. I mean, I had the first video game, My Hero One Justice One. I didn't get. I don't have two yet, but
Yeah,
have you played it?
I haven't. Like, I keep seeing it for the Switch. I really want it.
I have it. Yeah, I have it for. I have it. Yeah, for Switch. I don't have. They have it for. It's on PS4 and on Xbox as well, but I have it for the Switch.
Yeah, I'm thinking about picking it up for the Switch at some time. Not sure when.
Yeah, you can get it on. If you don't want to go to the actual store and leave your house to get it, it's on the eShop.
That's true. I could always get it there. I'm more of a physical copy kind of person, but some stuff I'll get on the digital, on the eShop.
So, speaking of Sonic, the movie.
Oh, here's the funny thing about the Sonic movie is I have not seen it yet. Um, the reason why is because it it was supposed to come in Japan out in Japan later. Like in the US it came out like on February 14th or 15th, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Japan it was supposed to come out early March. Um Coronavirus started getting bad. They started canceling uh they started canceling kids movies at movie theaters, and so obviously Sonic the Hedgehog fell under that. So they delayed it until further notice. So now it never came out in Japan. Yuji Naka, creator of Sonic himself, has not been able to see the movie because obviously he lives in Japan. So like the movie is out on streaming services, but it had like never came out in Japan. Isn't that wild? Like the place where Sonic the Hedgehog was created.
Yeah,
Can't even watch the movie.
Yeah, like the creator himself,
You know?
can't even watch his own
Right.
movie because it's just like you live in Japan. They should give him he should get like exclusive copy or an exclusive viewing in his own apartment of his own movie.
Yeah. And I still don't think he's seen it because he hasn't posted anything saying that he's seen it. And I remember when Japan first delayed all the kids' movies, he mentioned that he was, a little bummed because he'd have to wait to see Sonic. Because, like, even though he's the creator of Sonic, I don't think he doesn't like own the rights to Sonic the Hedgehog anymore. Especially because he's not with Sega or everything. He's kind of like retired, so like he doesn't really get a say. So he's just like another guy. He has to just go like normal to go see it. So I'm sure he hasn't seen it yet.
I haven't even seen it yet because yes, it came out in the U.S. before the whole quarantine hit, but I just didn't have because of before I was working like so many hours and all that stuff, and I didn't really have anyone. And my friends who I wanted to go see it with didn't have the time to go see it with me. I never got to see it, and so when the quarantine hit, I was just like, well, now I'm never gonna get to see it.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I might just have to see it on a streaming service or see it when it comes out on video or something.
I mean, like they're already planning a sequel with Tails in it. Like they're already talking about that.
Yeah, I saw that. Like I don't know much about the movie, but I did see the Tales part. I would have liked to be surprised for that, but of course, you when you're on Twitter, you can't avoid those kinds of things.
I mean, like it's funny how the first one didn't have Tails in it, and just like in the video game, Tails didn't come in until the second game.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like a Easter egg.
Yeah, I've heard there's lots of Easter eggs in the movie. Like I've heard that there's like the Akenda tribes, and that's such an Easter egg to Sonic Adventure, my favorite Sonic game. I'm really excited to see it. I was very apprehensive about the movie. I've still never seen any of the trailers. I don't even know what Sonic sounds like.
Well, I remember
I'm going into it blind.
I remember you not wanting this. I remember on social media when the Sonic movie first came out, like not out in the theaters, but like when they were teasing to it, and before they shut down and started remaking it, that is that when they had the old Sonic model, you were like, nope, not seeing it. Like Sonic does not look right. I do not like it. Not even gonna waste my eyeballs on the trailer. And
Yeah,
and then
that
like
was
what's that?
exactly how I felt.
Yeah, and then the new one comes out and you still didn't watch it. So now you're actually going in completely blind.
I really am, dude. Like I didn't want to have any expectations going in, and I mean I do now, especially because I know a little bit about the movie, but I'm still trying to be a blank slate going in, you know.
Yeah. Have you at least seen Eggman in the movie yet?
I have. I've seen what Jim Carrey looks like. I think he looks great. You know, I will say I was a little bit worried about the casting, but one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid is Batman Forever. And uh, Jim Carrey plays the Riddler in the movie, and he does such a good job. I think he does villain characters amazingly. So when I thought about how much I loved him as the Riddler in Batman, I was like, yeah, he'll be a great Eggman. I kind of changed my mind on it.
Yeah, because okay, one Batman Forever the game everyone hated, but I like it because I grew up on it. So um
I've never played the game, but see, I thought everyone hated Batman Forever the movie. I love all the Batman movies. I don't really think any of them are bad. A lot of people think certain ones are bad, but they're just nostalgic to me, so I like them all.
so you like the Dark Knight Rises and all that stuff?
Yeah, honestly, I do. I like all those movies.
Did you? I'm guessing you watched like Under the Red Hood and the animated series and all that too.
I never really watched any of the animated series. I watched a little bit of Batman Beyond growing up because I liked its art style, but I never really watched a lot of the Batman cartoons, mostly just the movies.
Yeah, because everyone says like, oh, you like Batman the animated series so good, you have to watch it.
I always hear that too. And like the weird thing is I'm not like obsessed with superheroes or DC Marvel stuff. Um, but I think it's just like the Batman movies are just nostalgic to me, and I think that's why I like them. Other than that, I'm not a comic reader. I don't keep up. I don't even keep up with like the DC movies or anything.
Well, I mean,
I haven't seen almost any of the new DC movies.
is there really a Marvel DC following in Japan? Because I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Like Marvel is just as big here as it is in the US. In fact, one of my coworkers, he is obsessed with Marvel. He wants to like go visit New York City where some movies have been shot and a lot of other big cities in the US. Of course, he's Japanese, so he's only been to the US once. But he wants to like go to all these places that he's seen in superhero movies, and he loves Spider-Man, and he goes to all of the Marvel movies at midnight to watch them.
Hmm.
It's got a huge following, and there's pop-up shops for Marvel all over Tokyo. It's really big.
I mean, like I gotta ask though. I mean, like on top of that, it's like I know that you live in Japan, so I'm guessing everyone speaks Japanese. They speak their native tongue in their own country,
Mm.
but like, is their English really good too? So it's easy for you to communicate with people now because you've been there for a long time now. So I'm guessing that you learned a little bit of the language by that time, and like and
Yeah. Well, I remember, I think I mentioned this in the last episode we did together, but I did pass the JLPT, the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. So, the very low level though. So I'm a very low level. I could probably read at a second grade level. Comprehension would be a little hard, but I can read it.
mm-hmm.
Um, and then, yeah, sometimes I realized how hard of a language English is, honestly. Um, there's so much slang and so much stuff that's understood, and English is very wordy. It's a very wordy language. So I've met people who are English teachers, who are Japanese people, Japanese speakers, who are also English teachers, but they still struggle every day with English. So, um, yeah, like sometimes it was hard to understand exactly what my coworkers wanted because their English just wasn't good enough to really tell me what they wanted. So yeah, it was a constant struggle, but yeah, I would say I've been a little bit surprised how little English there was, especially in northern Japan. I think a lot more people, the closer you get to Tokyo, I think a lot more people know English because there's more opportunities, more schools to learn English. But yeah.
But all your Japan friends are pretty good at English, so they can communicate with you easier, right?
Um, so I have this one friend who I met I went to see Paramore in Tokyo. And she's a big Paramore fan. She knows English really well because she tweets in English and but she listens to a lot of American bands. She's into a lot of well, to her, foreign bands. She's learned a lot of English through music, so her English is really, really good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the people I meet at conventions, they don't know English very well.
I can only imagine if like Cyber Timebite got so big that it got to Japan, they and like you start seeing like advertisements for my podcast like in Japan somewhere. I can only imagine like I would feel so bad that people are learning English from my podcast because it's not like I'm not a bad role model and I'm saying all these bad things which I'm not, which I never did on my podcast. But I'm talking about from the people I had on, they would just be like what's a homestuck?
Right. Well, that's like a lot of people do that. I hear that listening to podcasts is such a good tool for language learning because it's a natural conversation instead of watching acting. You know, a lot of people try to learn languages through watching dramas and music, but that's all acting. Podcasts are so real and such real conversations and natural that it's honestly the best tool for learning. And I try to listen to Japanese podcasts, but it's still really hard.
Hey, it's fine. I mean like it's just a really big learning curve, and you're just trying to get around that curve the best you can. You're trying to make that four-wheel turn, but that four-wheel turn is a little hard right now.
Yeah, and I'm not the most academic person. I was never really good in school. I was like a C student. So, studying and languages is hard for me personally, whereas for other people it'd probably be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just taking it a step at a day. Like I really try hard not to compare my Japanese skills to other people's because there's no point in that, that would only make me feel bad about myself, and I'm not trying to do that or anything. So, yeah, just one day at a time, one lesson at a time, you know?
Yeah, you're doing your best though. I feel like you're doing the best you
Thanks.
can.
Well, recently I have not I have not studied in like a month, to be honest, but I've been so busy with moving um that I just haven't had the time to study recently.
I I actually had I know that you live in Japan and Chinese food is different from like Japanese food, but like
Mm.
But you know how in anime, how they have that wooden thing and they take the thing off and it's like those little white rolls and there's like meat inside of them or whatever.
Oh, the meat buns.
Yeah, the meat buns. I actually had a
Actually from China, technically. But Japan made them pretty popular.
yeah I had a real one like a few days ago.
They're good. They're so good.
It it, it was weird because it was like barbecue pork inside a
Yep.
bun, and it's like it was weird. I never had this. I never had it that way before.
Well, I'll give you a recommendation. If you ever come to Japan, um, go to Yokohama. It's like south of Tokyo, so it's easy to get to if you're in the Tokyo area. Go to Chinatown. Chinatown's in Yokohama. You can find the best steamed meat buns, probably in the world.
Hmm.
They're really good. They have like ones with pork in them. My favorite ones are they have they call it ebi but it's like what is it? Ah man, what's the English word?
What?
Oh, shrimp. It's like chili sauce with shrimp. They're so good.
I no. Speaking of Chinatown and stuff like that. No. On the same subject, I actually have a friend who goes by Serpent's Breakdown on Instagram who is actually
Mm.
planning on coming to Japan and opening up a business called 2D Tokyo 2D City.
What is that?
She well, what she told me it is that it's basically a like a place where you can like it will have like panel rooms to do panels and it'd be like an anime like there'd be like an anime theater where you can like pay this much to we did a whole episode on it. I can send you the link so you can listen to it, but
Yeah, please do.
but she has like this whole idea planned out because she's in college right now for her business degree, and when she gets that all done, then she's gonna come over to Japan and start up her own little 2D city in Tokyo.
Dude, that would do well. The weirdest stuff does well in Tokyo.
Like my podcast and the spork. Oh, I'm pretty sure everyone in Japan would love the spork.
What is the spork?
Yeah, like my designs on a billboard in Japan, and it's all in it's
Oh, yeah, there you go.
and it's like my design, but except all my text on my shirt is in Japanese letters.
It's all aesthetic and stuff. Let me tell you, Tokyo is the most aesthetic place for advertisements.
I can no, I know that. No, I know
So there you go.
because isn't there like neon and signs all over the place down there?
Yeah, it's such a bright city. And there's like darker, less advertising places around, but one of my favorite places is Akihabara, and I love how they put the big posters on the buildings and how they light up different things. It's just really cool.
Yeah, because you travel around a lot around Japan. Like you go to like the different prefectures and different train stations and all that stuff, and you post
Yeah.
photos of it like all the time. Do you just like have you just do that in your off time? You just like going to the different areas of Japan and taking photos?
Yeah, so the last time I went to a big area or my last big trip was to Hokkaido, which is the 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 big northern island of Japan. And I went to the snow festival for that. And I really just took I took like 2 days off of work, and so I took a 4 day trip there. So that's the fun thing is that Japan is a small country in terms of size, so it doesn't take too long to get everywhere. So you can take like a 4 day trip somewhere, and personally, I think that you can do a lot of stuff in 4 days, especially in one city. Like if you ever wanted to go to Sapporo, Hokkaido for the snow festival, honestly, you'd only need 2 days to do everything.
Wow, that's just a regular weekend.
Yeah, honestly, that's why a lot of people will just either take a Friday off or a Monday off, and they'll go take a trip somewhere. Well, my next trip was supposed to be Osaka, which I've been to before, but I was gonna go again. But with the coronavirus, no one is going anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think the police. I don't think the Japanese police is gonna let you go anywhere right now.
Not at all. I mean, they've reduced trains too, which there's no one on the trains anyway. But yeah, it's just not good to go anywhere right now. Things are closed, and you just never know. I mean, anyone can catch the virus. I mean, I know that it sounds like percentage, like your chances of getting it percentage wise are very low, but still, you never know who can get it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm guessing you're gonna wear a mask and stuff today, right?
Yeah, I've been wearing a mask just about every time I go out.
Do you have a special mask, or is it just a regular mask? Like, is it an anime mask or something?
No, it's just one of the regular, like surgical masks. Back in February, I bought a lot of them because February was when they were starting to sell out, and now you really can't get them anywhere. But the government is handing them out to teachers and uh, some workers and stuff. So some people still have them, but they're hard. You can't just go to a store and buy them.
Yeah, because I uh I have I don't know if this is otaku or I don't know, but I have a wolf mask. It's like a blue
Hmm.
wolf, and and it's just like, I haven't used it yet because I haven't had to leave my house yet because I've been cooped in the house for almost 2 weeks. So I mean, I just have a little mask for right now, so just in case I ever had to leave the house.
Yeah, I recommend it because there's been some studies on like how far germs spread, even when you're just talking or breathing, you know. So it's good to wear a mask to protect people.
Yeah, don't go don't go heaving.
Yeah, for real. And like, it's a lot of this is common sense stuff. Covering your mouth, washing your hands. I mean, I'm just amazed of some of the stuff that people don't do on a regular basis. I'm like, no wonder so many people get the flu every year. I mean, we just spread it around like we don't care.
Yeah, like during this time of crisis, people were trying to say, stay home, don't go anywhere, and people are not staying home and still going somewhere.
Dude, I couldn't imagine like going to the beach in the middle of a pandemic. You have to be some kind of crazy to just be like, "Oh, there's a pandemic going on like worldwide. I'm gonna go to the beach." Why would you do that?
Have you? I know you don't live in the States and don't really get our news, but have you seen all the people going to, like, the beaches here in the U.S. just like, oh, quarantine going on? Who cares? We're going to the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the pictures from Florida. There's like crowded beaches. It's crazy.
I
People will do whatever.
Yeah, I don't. That's not me. I just like I in that no in this time frame that I've been on quarantine,
Yeah.
I beat Tekken 2, 3, 4, and 7's arcade mode because I could.
Yeah. I've been had to catch up on my games too. I mean, luckily Animal Crossing came out. I That came out less than a month ago. I've synced 200 hours into it.
Yeah,
Thank God.
I'm pretty sure that game is saving you and your friends' lives and letting you at least hang out with your friends digitally.
Oh, that's the best part about it. Like anything else aside, you can hang out with your friends, you can chat in the chat room. It's like you're really there with your friends. And well, that's just nice for me because I live in Japan and most of my friends live in the US and I'm like away from them. And I actually bought one of my best friends the game because I wanted them to play with me. And we've been able to play and see each other, and that's been the best thing about the game.
I used to play Animal Crossing like on the Wii when the Wii version came out. I used to play that version a lot, but
Mm.
then like I don't know, it just wasn't for me. Like I just never got behind it at like
Yeah,
because
it's it's one of those things that it's like My Hero Academia. It's not for everyone for sure. Um, some people would just be instantly bored. So I understand. I think for me it's very nostalgic. I've played Animal Crossing. I got my first Animal Crossing game in 2005. Um, and I that was the GameCube one.
yeah, the
And I
GameCube
played
one.
that so much as a middle schooler. So honestly, one of my favorites. It's just very nostalgic.
Do you ever play F Zero GX, the GameCube one?
No, actually, I have played the GameCube one, but that game is really hard. All the all of those games are like so hard.
Yeah, the first one's really you're not wrong there. The first one's hard, the second one's hard, the third one's hard.
Yeah, like F-Zero, I've only played. I think I've played like one of the ones for the SNES,
Uh,
and then I've played the GameCube one, and that's it.
You didn't play the N64 one?
It's hard to get to level 1. I'm not great at video games. I'm not great at video games, but those games are hard.
Yeah. On top of that, have you played Mario Maker yet?
I have Mario Maker 1 for the Wii U. I don't have the second one yet.
It's pretty fun. I mean, you're able to you just choose what game you want to create a level from, the third game, Mario World, all that, and you just make your level, and it's people make a lot of meme levels, but I'm quite simple with it.
Yeah, my husband's more into the game than I am. Because I'm not a big Mario, I grew up on Sonic, not Mario. I was one of those people.
Yeah.
But I think I'll pick up Super Mario Maker 2 at some point. It just seems like a game you gotta add to your collection just to have.
No, I feel like, oh, can you imagine if they had Sonic Maker and basically you make your own Sonic levels? You would have
That would be nuts.
You would have a field day, and
I would.
And you would probably have loop after loop after loop after loop after loop.
Yeah, dude. Those are my favorite. Speed pad after speed pad after speed pad. Tons of spikes.
Why would you put tons?
You could just pick any enemy you want from any games. Crazy.
What? I think I asked you this already in the last episode, but did I tell you? Did I ask you what your favorite Sonic game is?
Yeah, you did. So I think we talked about it because my favorite Sonic game, my favorite retro, quote unquote retro versus modern Sonic game, I like Sonic R. And then after when he got his green eyes and got remade and stuff, my favorite game is Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, you like Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic R.
Yes.
I'm surprised you like Sonic R because everyone hated that game.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I have this theory that they just suck at the game because so I had Sonic R on the PC. I originally had it on the PC as a kid, and I didn't. Back when I was 5 or 6 playing this game, I didn't get a PC controller. I played with the keyboard. I played Sonic R with the keyboard. Yeah. Sonic R, which is the game has questionable controls. I played on the keyboard, and I got really good at it on the keyboard. So when the game re-released on GameCube and Sonic Gems Collection, and I could play with the GameCube controller,
yeah,
it was like, how in Naruto, I don't know if you watch Naruto, but how in Naruto, Rock Lee takes off his weights, and he's so much faster? Yeah. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was taking off weights. And I just think other people are bad at the game. Maybe that's why they don't like it.
No, so
I love the game.
Yeah, because you felt the sunshine and it never went away.
I felt the sunshine. It brightened up my day and never looked back.
I haven't played the game myself because I haven't had the opportunity to. I mean, I played the Gems Collection before, but that was a long time ago. So I want to play Sonic.
Yeah, it's another one of those. It's nostalgic for me. The soundtrack is so good.
Oh, dude, do you know what we should do? If we do that idea, we should just talk about it right now if we are even thinking about wanting to do it. But is it okay if I bring it up?
Go for it. I'm okay with anything.
So, me and Kira here, if we decide to do it, we because of this whole pandemic going on right now in the world, we want to try to help and give back a little bit. And maybe do we're thinking about maybe doing a live stream sort of thing of for COVID fundraising and save up money so people can so we can give money back to the COVID-19 treatment. And the way that we're thinking about doing that is that we'll just play a bunch of games that maybe we were good and not so good at, and we're just gonna screw up. But it's all for the entertainment of the fans.
He recommended Tekken, and I'm like, I've never played Tekken in my life. And even if I had, I'd still be bad at it. I'm bad at all fighting games. So if you want to see me do real bad at Tekken...
This is the place. This is the place.
This is the place.
And no, we should have like we should do the Tekken thing, and then we should do like Sonic R for me because I never played Sonic R. So
I recommend it. I mean, again, everyone that starts to play it who didn't play it as like a 5-year-old kid would probably hate it, and understandably so. I'm definitely willing to admit I'm just up in my nostalgia feels for it.
I just can't believe I beat Sonic Spinball. I grinded years into that game, like
That game is
years.
so hard. I've
But
never beat Sonic Spinball.
here's the thing. I kind of cheated because I have the Sonic Genesis collection for the Switch, and it has a replay feature where you can press a button and it rewinds, so you can
Mm,
so you can
yeah,
redo your mistake. And
there you go.
so I beat it, but I cheated a little bit, but I beat it.
Look, in this day and age, if you gotta cheat on a video game, just cheat to get through it.
Do you want me to spoil it for you, or do you want to beat it yourself?
I already know the ending. Like I've seen basically everything there is to see, like streams and let's plays of the game. So nothing you say would spoil it for me.
Yeah, but it's hard. It was hard. Me doing it myself was hard.
It's hard. Like even the first level, I remember as a kid, I could never get through the first level, and then I ended up getting past that one. But I don't think I've ever beaten. I want to say I haven't gotten past the third level.
I what? Now I'm trying to figure out. I beat Sonic Spinball. I never thought that day would ever come. So now I'm just like, oh, what am I beat now?
Sonic R. There you go.
There we go. I never beat Sonic 1 or Sonic 2 or even Sonic 3.
I've
Oh,
beat Sonic 2 and 3. Between you and me, this is my biggest secret. This is my biggest, darkest secret. Are you ready for this?
oh yeah.
Never beaten Sonic 1.
You
I have never beaten it.
you never did?
As big of a Sonic fan I am, I mean, it's just like, that game was really hard. And I've never wanted, I want to go back and, I've just never, ugh. Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 are so good to me. And I played Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 for years before I ever owned the first one
Mm-hmm.
as a kid. And I just don't like Sonic 1 as much. And I get like, I think it's the Stardust Speedway or something. And I'm bad at that level.
Do you
And
not?
I just don't want to play it. I don't know. I've just never beaten the game. I've gotten close. I've just never beaten it all the way through. That's the hardest one though of the three.
Yeah, but what really kills that game though is that it doesn't have the spin dash in it. Like you gotta run and then go into it. You can't just squat down, press the button, and then go. You gotta run and then press the down button and then he rolls up.
Yeah.
That's what really kills it for me in that game.
Right, like that's really hard. Yeah, that's the hardest thing about it, I think. I just remember Stardust Speedway is not even in the first one. That's in Sonic CD.
Sonic CD is
What
a
is
good
the
game.
level that Sonic CD, I've beaten Sonic CD, but I don't like Sonic CD that much. That's why I don't like Stardust Speedway. Stardust Speedway got remade in Sonic Mania, I think. Yeah, it did. I like it in Sonic Mania, but I've never been a big fan of that. Everyone like that was everyone's favorite level from Sonic CD. I can't remember what level I get stuck at in Sonic 1.
But
Sonic CD I'm not a big fan of either.
did you like the flying battery zone level from I
I
think
love Flying Battery Zone for many reasons. I like it in Mania. I like it in Sonic and Knuckles. I love the music. The music's really good. So yeah, I really like that level a lot.
yeah you realize that I think we realized that like Sonic really broke the grounds of graphic animation because even back in the old Genesis days, I'm not even talking about Sonic Mania. I'm talking about like back in the Genesis days when you're on a spinny platform, like that was like the most 3D thing you got out of Sonic at the time. It seemed to spinning on a little thing like that.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And do you, like I guess they were just trying to test the waters. Like, oh, this is what Sonic's gonna look like in the future.
Yep.
I love it. I mean, I always been a Sonic fanboy myself because I mean, Sonic is awesome. How can you not deny that? How can you deny that? Um,
I think that, it's one of those things where everyone might not be into Sonic for the characters, but you've got to admit that, like, the gameplay is timeless. Like, the gameplay for at least 2, 3 Sonic and Knuckles, anyone can play those games and have fun, unless you're someone who has motion sickness. I know people who, like you mentioned with the graphics, like, I know that there are people who can't play Sonic because they suffer from motion sickness and everything is really fast. But other than that, like, anyone can pick up a Sonic game and have fun, I think.
I feel like I had. Speaking of motion sickness, I feel like I had that for a little while. I mean, not when I was playing video games, but like, you know how at the carnival they have the tilt-a-whirl thing.
Yeah, so you get motion sickness on like rides and stuff?
Well, yeah, a little bit because what happened was is that what was this? I think it was like 2 years ago. I went on the tilt-a-whirl. I used to go on all the time. It was like my favorite ride ever. But then when I went on it one year and I did it, and I was just like I was having fun, and then all of a sudden I feel something, and I'm like, oh god, this is not good. And I closed the eyes for the rest of my ride on there, and I was like, I feel like I had to hurl. I had to get off, and I felt like I had to hurl. And
Ugh.
then me was being Mr. Smarty Pants to be like, let's do it again.
Well, I've been really lucky not to have to deal with motion sickness. I get car sick sometimes, but other than that, I don't really get motion sick.
I mean, like that's the closest to motion sickness I ever had. But like if I play like
Mm,
Sonic, I have no problem.
right.
Um. So is there anything you want to ask me though? Just like out of curiosity, because I know I'm just wondering.
About anything?
Yeah, about anything, like just like anything, because I don't think I ever gave you that opportunity the first time, and I felt bad.
Um, well, I know that we were talking about like going to conventions and stuff, even though there's stuff canceled. I mean, do you have any plans for conventions this year?
Yes, actually. um,
So which ones were you planning on going to? I mean, whether or not they're going to be canceled or not.
well, since the convention I was supposed to go to next month, which was called the County Pop Culture Con, which is different from the Chicago Pop Culture Con, which that's canceled too. So,
Oh yeah, that's not surprising.
well, no, the Chicago Pop Culture Con canceled because of the venue it usually does it at closed down, and so they
Mm,
can't do it there anymore. But um,
right.
but the one next month that got canceled because of the virus. But my next convention now is Anime Midwest, and that's only in July. So if it doesn't get canceled, I have two panels I'm doing. I'm doing the Cyber Timebite panel, and I'm doing an Anime Family Feud, and
Ooh, that sounds fun.
it's going to be
That sounds fun.
yeah, it really is. I'm going to have Homestuck versus My Hero Academia in the first one.
That's really cool. That's gonna be wild. I love the anime game shows, man. I miss panels. I miss cons. Cons in Japan aren't the same. So I
And
really miss going to ones in America and seeing my friends and stuff.
anime game shows. Let's just look at your own country's game shows.
Let's just take your own country's game shows and throw anime at it. There
Uh,
we go. But hey, they're fun. They're real fun.
but like their Japanese game shows are crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Japanese game shows. Yeah. I haven't really watched any of them, but I've heard stories about how crazy they are.
Like there's like one where supposedly like there's like you're supposed to get into like you're supposed to put your body in a certain position and go for the hole. And I don't know how people do it, but it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen one to be honest. I know that there's been panels about Japanese game shows, like showing off Japanese game shows, but I've never been to one. So I don't even know what kind of crazy stuff they have.
Have but yeah, if you were to come here to into the States, I mean I would have you like totally in my panel, and I'd be like, yeah.
I would love to, man. I miss panels so much. I really do. I was just talking to my best friends yesterday about like how I miss running panels, and if I can't come to the US during the summer, I'll try to come during the winter because during the winter is one of my favorite conventions, Ichiban Con.
Hmm.
And I would try to do panels there. Ichiban Con is in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is really far away from you. But Yeah, I miss running panels, but I mean, I know that this COVID stuff is going on and the events might be canceled, but maybe you could live stream your panels or something on Twitch or something.
Yeah, but the thing is that all my panels involve like in room involvement with people, and so like me doing like the
Oh, I see.
like how
Yeah.
like how am I gonna do Anime Family Feud with only me and in trying to get everyone else in the same call without like lag or internet issues?
That's true. That's very true. That is a real bummer. This like COVID is ruining everyone's plans and artists and vendors at conventions, cosplayers who do this for a job. Like, what are they supposed to do? It's nuts.
It's it really is crazy, really.
Yeah. Well, I hope it gets better so that we can go back to our somewhat normal lives.
Yeah, like I want to go back to my con life. I have friends I want to
Yeah.
see.
Well, if I wasn't living in Japan right now, I'd be going crazy because cons, I mean, my whole life revolved around doing panels for them and cosplays and going to see my friends, and that was such a big part of my life in the US. I don't know what I'd be doing if I was sitting at home in the US right now with no cons to look forward to. Whew, that would make me so upset.
Now, if you were in the U.S. right now and this was going on, and you wouldn't be able to even go visit your friends, you'd be locked in your home right now, just with nothing besides what you have.
Yep. Exactly that.
I feel like this is what the apocalypse feels like.
Yeah. I think the whole world feels like that.
I know. We promised an hour, and I know you wanted to do an hour, but I want one last question. I want to ask, and if you have anything you want
Yeah,
to
go
ask,
for it.
and if there's anything that you want to, any last thing you want to ask me, that's cool too. But I know we were talking about the Neo Geo the last time, and I don't know if you've seen one since then, but you know about the game King of the Monsters?
I've never heard of it.
It's basically a fighting. It's basically a fighting game with a lot of wrestling influence in it for some reason. But it's basically you know how in Japan how Godzilla is huge and they have like monsters are pretty much huge in Japan and all that. Um,
Yeah.
it's basically a game made back in the '90s for the Neo Geo where you're two giant monsters fighting. What you're fighting each other, but you're also crushing buildings at the same time in
Well, that
Japan.
kind of sounds like Rampage.
Well, yeah, I mean, Rampage. Yeah, Rampage is more like your monsters destroying buildings, but in this game, you're the monsters, and while you're fighting, your feet are like just walking over the town.
Oh, I see. Ah, okay.
And Japan's,
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I think Osaka's one of the places in the game.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I mean, I recommend it if you're into big monsters colliding into each other, but
Maybe I'll check it out. I like anything with a Japan setting. I'm willing to give it a try.
but yeah, any last any last things you would like to ask me before we have to wrap it up here?
Um, Really? I think the only question I would have, and I ask a lot of people this question because I'm always interested in the answer, is what anime have you been watching and enjoying lately?
Well, the last anime I started and finished was Yuri on Ice, and I loved, and that was a good anime.
Yeah, Yuri on Ice is really good.
But I, but I'm really trying to get into My Hero right now because everyone tells me to watch it, and I have all the time in the world. I've been, I've been just trying to I've been honestly been playing a lot of Tekken and been and trying to. I also want to watch Beyblade. I have a lot of stuff I want to watch. Beyblade's one of them because that's a great anime.
Grew up on Beyblade. I love Beyblade.
Beyblade's amazing. All the seasons are released on DVD in America, at least. I don't know about Japan, but they are all released on DVD so far.
Sure, it's out here somewhere. Japan really likes their Beyblade too, so I'm sure they have it.
But I did a whole Beyblade tournament as well, which was really cool. I filmed one and I have it on DVD. Um, I should if you want a copy of my DVD coverage of a Beyblade tournament, I can try to get to you somehow. It'd probably be really expensive from U.S. to Japan, but
That would be sick. Or if I'm in America, just you could mail it to wherever I'm going to be in the U.S. Save some money.
yeah. And the best part is I can make it PAL, so it work in Europe.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So there you go. It's all sorted out then. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to. I can't believe I'm saying this. The episode 101 of Cyber Timebite. I'm no Dalmatian.
I love that you're at I didn't even know you were at 101. I went on your YouTube the other day and I saw that you had uploaded like episode 90, and I was like, wow, you're so far. Like, that's an accomplishment. Over 100 episodes. I can't even get 2 out.
No, man, it's fine. I mean, like I said before when we were starting this, I mean, like I already pre-record, like I'm already pre-recorded all the way up to episode 99. I'm ready to go whenever they need to come out.
That's a big accomplishment.
I just really love doing this podcast, and it means a lot.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to follow me, I'm on Facebook at CyberTimebite. I'm on Twitter at NostalgiaVamp. Pick up my merchandise at redbubble.com under Crash Steven Gear, where even you know that the spork is the most powerful of them all. Japan even knows.
I've never seen a spork in Japan, but I believe you, man.
Oh, they're gonna know. I'm gonna make them know.
Oh, okay. That's not like a threat.
It's like no, that's the new monster movie. There's Godzilla and then there's Spork.
Spork.
Oh man,
money's on Spork.
I love it. I swear I do.
Takedown. He's gonna eat Godzilla for breakfast with a spork. Happen.
Yeah, he's gonna stab him and then scoop him up for his lunch.
One bite.
All but he's gonna be like one of those mini 1-bite cupcakes.
Yeah, just like that.
Oh man, how about you? Where can people find you again?
So I'm pretty active on Twitter. You can find me at Kiirathehedgehog, Kiira, then Hedgehog. And my YouTube channel is Ginger Gaiden. And I just do stuff about my life in Japan, anime, gaming. I do a lot of like video game hunting videos, and I do have my Sonic the Hedgehog channel called Kiira the Hedgehog, but I don't upload there much, so don't expect anything. Just follow me on my Twitter, and that's where you can find me doing just the weird stuff.
Yeah, and then just to close it out, if you we'll update you guys. I'll update on the Cyber Timebite page to everyone who by the time this gets uploaded, who knows if it's already going to be done or not. But like I'm just gonna say it anyway because if I'll update everyone obviously on the Cyber Timebite page about the quarantine COVID fundraising stream me and Kira will do, and if we do that, I'll update on the Facebook page, and then you guys can be able to go check that out, and that'd be awesome.
It would be very sick. Not that I just made a pun right there. That was a bad pun. That would be awesome.
Better.
That's much better. Had to catch my mistake there. Why am I like this?
Why me like this?
Like, yeah, coronavirus relief Twitch stream, let's do it. That'd be sick. It's like, don't use that word. Not okay.
No, did I give you like the stare?
I feel like, gosh darn it, Kira, why are you like this?
Like why? Like, Kira, why? Like, why?
You had one job.
You have one job. Oh man. Well, I hope all of you out there in podcaster land have yourself a very nice day.
yeah, stay safe, guys. Take care.